Doug, mate, I think you're on mute. Lad.
Oh no! There's a good restart. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Dug Out Football channel. What feels like an absolute eternity. We're back to Premier League action this weekend as Liverpool take on the mighty Brighton and Hove Albion. And to join me, I have three fabulous guests from the Copite podcast. First of all, Mick Moran is back on the channel. How are you, Mick?
Yeah, all good, mate. Nice one for having me on. It feels like it's been a while since I jumped on. So yeah, nice to get back on.
Absolutely is. And making his debut all the way from Sweden, it is Kristian Andersson. How are you, Kristian?
I'm good, thank you. I had a few pints on the way before I stopped into one pub because the missus and the daughter is out. So I just thought I'd sneak out for a sneaky pint. So I'm all good, thanks. And thank you for having me on.
It is a pleasure. And also joining from the opposition side of things, I had him on the first Prem Predictions show, and he is up for Best Young Content Creator at the FCAs. It is Mr. Luke Links. How are you, Luke?
Hey, look, I'm really, really good, actually, Doug, and I'm happy to be back. So thank you for having me back. It's great to be here again. Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing all right. Look, I'm happy. Look, England stuff's out the way. The negativity, hopefully coming to the positivity now. Premier League's back. I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as I said at the start, and as I said off camera, that it has been 28 days since we both last played. But yeah, there we go indeed. But feels like an eternity, as I have said as well. Good evening to Nicola. Hope you're good. Bleeze075, hello. Godzilla King, hello. Good to see Paul Dennison is in. Hello, Paul. Good to see you in here. International finished wonderfully for Serbia. Yep. I won't. Will I mention Scotland? Well, we'll see. Good evening, Julian, as well. So yeah, I mean, guys, it's been 28 long days. I mean, Mick, our last game was a 2-1 win against Ajax, but before that, it was a 0-0 draw with Everton. Are you just happy to see the Reds back in action?
Yeah, I think I put a tweet up the other day, like saying it's going to be 28 days, and then Mike Reid from Opta then showed me a stat that it's the longest gap since like 1979 between two Premier League matches for Liverpool. Anyway. So obviously the circumstances around that's why, but yeah, it felt like 28 years, to be honest. It's felt absolutely ages. So it's just nice that, obviously, like you said, the Napoli game wasn't a good one for us. We obviously then bounced back with the Ajax victory, and it was a lot better, but then massive gap, obviously the Chelsea game being postponed and stuff. So this one's 28 game gap's like massive in the Premier League. So it's like I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for us because we didn't start the best. So it's either really good in terms of getting people back. Obviously, Ibu Konate was back in training today. Yeah. So I don't know if he'll be involved or not, but to have him back in training and stuff, and to have a load of people back, hopefully fit and ready to kind of just start the season again. It's going to feel like a little bit just because the gap's been so long. But yeah, I can't wait for it.
I can't wait for it. And there's no more international breaks till obviously the World Cup. I think until after that, I think it's March. So it's a long wait as well. But Kristian, I think many people, and me and self included, I think we felt the international break came at the right time for us.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm not a fan of international breaks, but this break was really good though. And like Mick said, 28 days, and it was the longest since when, Mick?
1979, apparently.
Yeah, and it felt like, well, it's been like a summer break, like when the season ends in May and you go on holiday and it's summer and you just have a nice time, and that kind of break is always welcome because you feel a bit drained at that time when the season ends. Yeah. So. But now in the middle of like the start of the season, and you're just thinking, okay, so this break's going to come, and you see that it's going to be 28 days now when we're looking back on how long it's been. It feels like you kind of lost a little bit. I wouldn't say passion for football, but you kind of forgot about it, a bit. You just move it a bit away. And now when we're talking about Liverpool haven't started that good, I think, and I agree with what you said, that, now it's kind of starting again. It's a new, fresh start, and we hope that we can just bounce back from, being quite bad in the start and now get on with it like we want to do. Sorry, Luke.
I know. It
Don't
does.
worry at all, mate.
It does feel like that. But I suppose again, Luke. I mean, the same could be said for Brighton. I mean, you guys haven't had a game for a wee while. Obviously, your last game turned out to be Graham Potter's last game, a 5-2 win against Leicester City.
It was a lovely win. I was there. I vlogged it, and it was very positive actually. And it was interesting. But I think what was more interesting is the sudden move with Graham Potter going to Chelsea.
Yeah,
that was awful. Taking all the staff as well. One of our Spanish right backs, Bruno, absolute legend in our club, went as well. Completely unexpected for our club. And we were really down as Brighton fans, I think, as a club, as a fan base. But we've come really positive now, I think. And this break has come exactly like you guys for the right time for us. And we brought in this Italian attacking manager by the name of Roberto De Zerbi, and he looked promising. He's had Champions League experience, so I'm hoping for good things, staying positive with it. But yeah, as I say, I think the break came at the right time. Obviously, wasn't the funnest watching England struggle as well, so it was quite negative and kind of put it down on football, as you guys were saying as well. It didn't. Just kind of our minds went off football for a bit. But
don't worry, Luke. Sweden is struggling as well. So
I have a couple of mates from Sweden actually, and they're having a hard time as well. So I think I just think football for all of us is a bit up and down at the moment. But we're back with football now, and hopefully it's going to be a good game for us, Brighton. But
I know. It just feels like, as I've said, it was an absolute eternity. But I suppose again, the international break has obviously allowed players to obviously come back. And obviously, Mick, one player that didn't play for their national teams was Trent Alexander-Arnold. How well do you think he will be after what has to be said? Gareth Southgate's treatment, I thought, was really bad of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I don't think it's great for the manager to come out and say he's behind someone in terms of overall play. I think that's a little bit strange, because I think he's obviously been pressed for an answer, and he's just thought, I'll just say this because that's what he thinks, and he's right. If he wants to think that, then that's fine. But like for us, Trent, you fit him into a system, and I know Trent hasn't started the season great, but not many Liverpool players have, to be fair. So it's one of them. Like, we need to recuperate as a team, and Trent needs to get his best form back, because of last season I thought he'd got a lot better at the defending side of things, and I think it's a bit of it's just that constant lazy argument where people just say Trent can't defend because they've watched like him get rinsed by Rashford when he was like 18, and that they've just based all the evidence on that. And he's one of those that he is out of position quite a lot, but he's so high up the field, and we don't play a back five, so he's always going to be targeted in terms of that side, because his defensive abilities aren't as good as his attacking abilities. That's the most basic thing about it. His attacking abilities is what we play him for. That's why he's in the team. That's why he gets forward. He creates a lot of stuff. So, I mean, once he gets back to Liverpool and we're back playing again, I don't think it'll bother him too much, because Klopp will obviously. I'm looking forward to see Klopp's press conference on Friday, because he's going to get asked this question. I'm looking forward to see what his reply is to that. That'll be interesting as well.
Yeah, I know. And I suppose, Kristian, I mean, there is a few wee rumours that apparently Calvin Ramsey is now training ahead of schedule. Looks like he could be available very, very soon. The fact that obviously Trent hasn't really had much, competition for right backs. Do you think that Calvin Ramsey coming back could potentially make him a better player?
I hope so. He needed competition. He's been, in that starting 11 since he actually broke through. So, it hasn't been an issue for him that someone is on his back, like we had seen Tsimikas on Robbo on the left side. So he needs someone who maybe, kick up the arse, to be honest, just to make him, feel uncomfortable on having the spot in the team. But no one really will be able to push him out of the team if he just hits the form. And I think, you can talk about him being comfortable in his position and no one else is actually, competing with him. But at the end of the day, he's just out of form, and the whole backline has been out of form as well. So, we talk about Trent going forward. That's his best part of his play, but he's not that bad defensively, to be honest. We've seen him do great, but obviously with Van Dijk not being play in the same form as we've seen before. And Matip as well was out. When he had them and everyone was playing well, we could just be assured that they would cover up for him, and he had the chance to go forward and just he could relax going backward because he knew they were sorting it anyway. But at the time, no one has been really good. So that's a bit of a concern, but hopefully we will sort that out now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Luke, do you think Brighton are going to target Trent Alexander-Arnold, like with Trossard on that left-hand side at the weekend?
Yeah, and yes. It's an interesting one, really, because I don't know what De Zerbi's going to do. And I do think, as much as he says he's quite similar to Potter, I think he's a bit different as well, because I think he's way more attacking than Potter is. So I do think that he will go up against Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously. So I think attack-wise, you're going to see a little bit more than usual from us, I believe. That's only from his stats and what he does normally in the other clubs. I just think he's more attackive. So he's going to probably give Dennis Undav a try as well, I believe, because I'm pretty sure he wants to start working on him and getting him the better player. And of course, it'll be nice to see a more of attacking Brighton side, because we're normally, when we had Kristian, we were that defensive side, and we went everything by best form of attack is defense. And then we went for Graham Potter, who sort of sorted us out midfield wise, and that's when Gross started scoring more goals, and the midfield started getting a lot better. And now I think we're going to see more of attacking Brighton side, which I actually quite like, because I think we've not really had a good striker since the Murray days and the Championship days, and we've not really had that good attacker yet. So I'm hoping to see a very attacking team against Liverpool and Anfield and surprise you guys with something a bit different. And if we do that and we play well and we do that successfully, whatever De Zerbi's trying to do, then I'll be happy with it. But I'm not really gonna, say I would like Trent to be forced upon, but I just want to see what he's going to do and just believe in whatever he's going to do is the correct way of getting past and getting a draw or a win out of the game.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the chat, because I have kind of missed you guys out, but I won't do that. Liz says subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much, Liz. By the way, Liz, I hope you're staying safe in Florida, because it is hurricane season out there. So obviously stay safe, and obviously let us know how you are doing in the chat. Guy Richard says tally ho all. Julian says he's just liked and sub. Thank you very much, Julian. I really appreciate that. Hello, Fraser. And Liz and Gary having a good chat in the live chat. De Zerbi is a great coach. Us Serie A fans need coaches that play attacking football, says Godzilla King. To be honest, I haven't really heard much about De Zerbi. The only clubs I know he's managed is Sassuolo and Shakhtar as well. Ian Clelandon, you have Brighton and us at home midweek. We will obviously pick up on that Rangers game at some point in this show as well. Hello to Panoff Scouse. I love that name. Absolutely love that name. Evening, Douglas and panel. Hello, chat. Sefka doesn't play him because he doesn't track back. It's a lazy argument, to be honest with you. Trent wasted his bloody time going in the first place. Yeah, it is. In one-on-one situations, Trent is good defensively. Yes. I hate Graham. Yes, I will pick up on that, Godzilla King, because that is something I want to speak to Luke about, is obviously those comments that Graham Souness did say about your new manager. Let me just pick that up anyway. But Luke, Brighton, you're sitting fourth in the league at the moment. How impressed have you been with your start? Because let's just be honest, you've picked up where you left off from last season. Yeah, honestly, it's been an incredible start to season. I think if you're including the end of last season as well, it's quite a nice little run we've had going, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, with the surprising Man United win, I mean, not so surprising, obviously, with their terrible start, but it was certainly surprising when we went to, obviously, Old Trafford and got that win. But yeah, no, honestly, we've had a crazy run. Obviously, we lost to Fulham. That was the first loss we've had all of the start of the season. But with the amount of stuff that's happened now, I don't know how long that'll carry on. I don't know if it will carry on or it won't carry on. I don't know what's going to happen with it now, because we've had such a big change to the club. But yeah, we've had an insane run, honestly, mate. We've had insane. It has been. And one of those players that you have to say, Mick, Moises Caicedo. Now, go back to deadline day and everything has just happened. Caicedo decided to follow every single Liverpool player that you could think of. How good of a player is Caicedo, though? Because he's really impressed me this season.
He's unreal, honestly. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Was that for me, Doug, or for Luke?
Yeah, for you, Mick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he looks really good, doesn't he? I think it's one of those. Like, was he only 20? So he's sky's the limit for him, because I think it's one of those. Like, how long's he been at Brighton for? Like, what, a year is it or something like that? So it's the fact that he's getting touted for the clubs that he is at this moment in time just obviously says how good he is. But in terms of like one of those midfielders that's just going to get stuck in and keep the ball ticking over and even getting forward in the attacks, I think he ticks a lot of boxes, I think, for what Klopp looks for in a midfielder. So I think that's why there's obviously those links were there. I think the whole deadline thing was just hilarious, though. I think I was coming back from Greece, actually, and I was just like refreshing Twitter, and I just saw like I was followed the whole Liverpool team. I was like, this isn't happening. It's definitely not happening, because I thought I'm going to get on the plane in 10 minutes, no signal. I was like, if I get off the plane and we've signed someone, and obviously we didn't, to be fair. So, but yeah, it's he looks like a good player. I think it's one of those that it's probably Brighton's like you've mentioned, is a good club for players like that, because they're gonna, especially under Potter. Obviously, he's now moved on, but under Potter, he plays the right type of football. He's obviously he's got to move to Chelsea because he plays the right type of football. He's got the right type of ethos. Galvanizes players in the right way. Want to play with the ball on the floor and just get it forward and use very good tactics in the wide areas as well. So I think it's one of those that he's fit very well into that setup, and I think, what is he, 21 in November? So there's a lot of time for him to get a lot better as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we just keep sniffing around him for the next couple of years, or however long he's left at Brighton.
I know, and Kristian, you have to say the recruitment at Brighton has just been top notch ever since Potter's been there, and obviously, they've continued that with, Alexis McAllister is a player who has really, really impressed me. I mean, was probably denied one of the goals of the season against Leicester City. How that shot from that free kick was disallowed, I will never know.
No, and I agree with Mick. When you look at the players that Brighton have, you might not know them before, but as soon as they actually come onto the stage in the Premiership and playing for the club, they've been, absolutely brilliant. And with Graham Potter as well, obviously, with his little journey in Swedish football, he was there for Östersund for quite many years, and brought them up from their third tier to the highest division and played in Europe. So he knows how to develop players and to make a team out of them and to actually fight together, which he did in Brighton when he came in as well. And that's why he left them in a really good position. Hopefully for Luke, obviously not against Liverpool, but, they will take a step on from that and actually continue. And they are a club that you can't underestimate. You can't, just think that you're going to win against them, even if it's against them at Anfield this time. Obviously, we hope we can go out and get 3 points, but that's a club that, will fight now. Obviously, with a new manager, they will show, players will show that they are earning a place in the starting 11 going forward. So, we need to keep out on that and actually go out and fight as well, even if it's at Anfield. So, I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but it's a club that you should trust that they will go out and do the job. So, it's a good club with good players, lots of talent in it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the players that you did obviously lose, Luke, obviously, Cucurella, I think people kind of probably expected him to, move on. But I mean, well done, first of all, for basically getting 62 million out of Chelsea. I mean, 62 million is obviously a club record fee for, a Brighton player. But how are you feeling with the recruitment this summer?
Well, this kind of goes on to the De Zerbi kind of area as well, because supposedly De Zerbi is meant to be a manager that does less of buying and more of making players that he has better. And I think that's one of the traits he has to Roberto is he will get the best out of the player that he works with. Obviously, the squad of players that he has. So that's why I'm really excited, and I'm feeling a lot better about the new manager business, is because one of his biggest traits is obviously making players that he already has better instead of buying new players, which is exactly what we want. And it's kind of what Potter did really with some of the youngsters. And Brighton are one of those clubs who love to bring youngsters or cheaper players and make them into these stars or these hidden talents. They like to find these hidden talents. We've been going for a lot of, obviously, Alexis McAllister and Moises Caicedo and all of those players. They're all South Americans. Seem to be going a lot for the South Americans, obviously Argentina and Ecuador and all of that. So it's been quite interesting. Yeah, it's been quite interesting. But obviously losing the players like Cucurella and Basuma, I'm just surprised of how well we did without these people. I thought this was our time that we were going to go straight back to 13th and near relegation area again and be struggling again. But we didn't. We picked ourselves back up and we're now in 4th place and had a brilliant start to the season without these big players, crucial players.
Oh, yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, me and you spoke, I think, on the first day of the season, and you were like, well, if we have a top 10 finish, I will definitely take it.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. No, definitely. With the players that have sold. Top 10 was, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I think without being too cocky and without obviously sort of putting the Brighton fans out there, I think I've spoken to a few Brighton fans and a few of our fans were like, hold on, do you think maybe Europa or Conference League could be a thing this year? I mean, this was before Potter went, but obviously now that Potter's gone, it's a little bit different. But I don't know, it depends how De Zerbi does with our squad. Could we still get into that area? I mean, we were literally one spot behind West Ham on getting Conference League last season.
Yeah, you were.
That was with Cucurella and Basuma there, but I don't know. We shall see. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself with it, obviously.
No, definitely not. Yeah. But we will get into the comments. Hello to Brian Morrissey. Thank you for tuning in. Owen is in. Copper Podcast. Hello. Hi all. I think Zerbi, thank you. That is a pronunciation I'm going to have to get right. I think Zerbi will attack us, and we usually do well against teams who leave space against us. That is a very good point. Julian says, as long as we stop selling all our midfielders! ! That's very true. Hello to Mike Green as well. Gary Richard says Brighton will be a tough game, but it's a game where Starwin will score, but a really tough game against the South Coasters. Also a nice trip up the Pennines. Yes, absolutely. Terry Fuller is in. Hello, hi. You sold Mane. I know he wanted out, but should have been Firmino, surely. Mick, every single game I think we're going to get, we miss Mane. I think it's time to just put that to bed, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm bored of it all, to be honest. I think it's Mane wanted to leave, so it's like one of them. You're not going to keep someone against the will. I'm sure Klopp done everything he could to say, "Oh, why don't you just stay another year or whatever?" But he wanted to leave, so it's just one of those. You have to adapt. You have to. That forward three that we had for so long was one of them was going to leave at some point. I suppose I agree slightly. I thought it might be Firmino that went first potentially, but you just never know. And we've now got, I think, getting Diaz in the January as well, kind of took that left hand spot. Mane moved to the middle, and then it was kind of Mane kind of done amazingly in the 9 role. To be fair to him, I think there was a lot of doubts around whether he could do that initially as well in terms of like his link up play and stuff, and he did it really well. So, and then he's got the move to Bayern, and we've brought in Darwin Núñez, who's played like equivalent to like 2.5 games, and then people are already just clipping up like mad misses in training and stuff, just like craziness. Like you can't even go to the toilet these days without people just like clipping what you're up to. Like it's just isn't it? So it's just a different level these days. It's a different spotlight on the players, isn't it? So but yeah, I'd love it if Darwin got another goal, because it's one of those that he needs to start scoring quite regularly, but he's not been playing regularly, but obviously because of the red card as well, so that's partly his fault. So yeah, I just can't wait for this game to see where we're at, basically, because like we said, Brighton, new manager, and like Owen in the comments rightly said, like they're going to have a skip in the step in terms of like what their new system and whatever, but that could also work in our favour because they might not be 100% there in terms of what Zerbi wants to achieve on the field yet. So it might be a good time for us to play Brighton. I think if we were coming up against the Brighton with Potter still in charge, I'd be a lot more worried, to be honest, because we know how good he is in terms of his setup and stuff, and we've struggled against him in the past because he knows how to play against us. So could be a good time, but yeah.
Can I just add something? I just want to ask you, Liverpool fans, and I just want to ask: do you think Núñez has reached your expectations, or not reached your expectations on the start of when he came in and things? Do you think he'll be a massive impact for the Liverpool game, or do you not? What's your thoughts on Darwin Núñez as a whole? Has he met your expectations?
I think people making compilation videos out of him is very, very harsh. I think he has played with. I think I saw this from you, Mick. Actually, is it 259 minutes he's played?
Like 2.6 games, the equivalent of. It's just like it's nothing. It's basically nothing, is it? Like 2 games and you're getting judged. So it's one of them. Like I understand what people mean, because like when Liverpool usually sign a forward, they're really cohesive in terms of the touch, and the link-up play is usually like spot on. And his isn't. Like sometimes his second touch is a tackle, but I think we need to get our players in the right area where he's just in the box and getting the balls into him and he scores. I think that's when that starts to happen. The rest of the link-up play and the other stuff that we want him to do will start coming a bit more naturally, because I think at the moment it's a little bit forced. I think he's trying, like I said, with the red card, he's come back in, he's trying a bit too hard sometimes to try and make stuff happen, like forcing passes or just trying to do stuff that his natural game isn't that. And I think once we get a bit of confidence in him, a bit of confidence in the team as well, I think that's understated because the team's not playing well. If he comes into a team that's not playing well, he's also going to struggle. I think people forget that as well. So once we start playing well, and I think that'll positively affect him, and then it'll positively affect the rest of the team as well. So fingers crossed anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Kristian, you got anything to add on Darwin Núñez?
Yeah, I was thinking also what Mick said about Mane. To be honest, like he wanted to leave. We had already brought in Luis Diaz, and we had like the best years of Mane anyway. He still will be good for Bayern Munich. No doubt about that. But someone had to move on, because I think sometimes you need to kind of change your game, change plays as well to keep it all fresh, to keep something being exciting. I obviously would have liked Mane to stay. Like, it's not like I want to sell him, because I thought Firmino was going to leave if there was someone's going to leave, because obviously Salah with his new contract. But, it was Mane. He wanted to go. Okay, accepting, because he's been there for many years. He scored many goals. He won everything. Okay, let go, because that's fine. That's just being respectful towards him, towards the club from his way anyway. Luis Diaz, he's got the energy, he's something new as well. He got, the skills. We're just waiting for him to maybe score more goals. And adding up on that with Darwin Núñez, like Luke said, like the opinions from us Liverpool fans, like Mick said, he's only played 2 minutes, And that's the thing. Like, he already scored in, against Man City, a nice goal, a nice header. He scored against Fulham. Yeah, it was a little bit of luck, but he was still in that position to score the goal, and he did it. And we've seen that he's got the skills. He's only like 22, 23 or something like that. He's a player that we can see have it. We just need to let him adapt. Don't stress him. Take it easy. Sit back and relax. We've seen it before that some players struggle. Some people will be like Suarez or Torres, who just score straight away and then they're just gone and they're brilliant. But Darwin Núñez now, he scored with Uruguay, a great goal, a great header that we saw on Twitter. I know, Mick, you posted it as well, and showed me. And I was like, yeah, that's brilliant. And that's something that you see, the way he goes up in the air and the way he actually, goes onto the ball and header it down. It's brilliant. We know he got the skills in his locker. Just leave a little bit of time and let him play, and let Klopp play him like he played Fabinho or Robertson when they came. They didn't go straight into the team. They were waiting for their, they adapted to the way we play. They adapted to a new environment. They adapted to new teammates, a new country, a new language. It will affect people. They are professional football players, but they are still people. So sometimes people just have to, relax a bit and don't make stupid clips on Twitter, to sell people like, oh, he's shit or whatever. He's not. He's really good. Liverpool scouted him for a long time. And when he played against us for Benfica, he was brilliant. He's got the skills. Hopefully, Klopp and Liverpool can develop him to make him better. But at the moment, just leave him alone a bit and we will see, him score goals for us. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a good question from Owen actually from here for you, Luke. How does Luke think Trossard has done this season? Is he in the form of his life?
Well, he's 27 years of age, so I guess you could say he's coming up to his prime, or could be in his prime. I think he's become a lot better than he was. I've always said with Trossard, he hangs onto the ball a little bit too much, but he's kind of his skills have gotten better recently. I've seen that. I've laid off of that because I've always been shouting at him like, Trossard, pass the ball, because he just wouldn't pass the ball. Like, he kept holding on to it and then he would end up losing it. But he's been a lot more consistent recently for sure. And he's a pretty class player. He's a pretty class player. And I think, he shows it at Belgium as well. He doesn't just play it in the Brighton side. He's playing with a top Belgium side and replacing Hazard and coming off the bench and playing as good, if better, than Hazard for Belgium. So, yeah, look, class player. And I don't know, to say he's at his prime now, I don't know, because he's surprised me and suddenly this season started playing unbelievably. So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
He is a very, very dangerous player. I do like him as well. Godzilla King says Trent will be troubled. It could be that for sure. Tally Gary says Copon. Terry Fillers says, as a neutral Leicester fan, just an observation. That's not a problem. Yeah, Manny's own news move on, says Panoff. No, he will get better. Panoff says, I want to see Darwin get a run of games now. We paid enough for him, and now he needs the chance to show us why. Hello to Ryan Henry. Hello to Devils United. Hello to Alberto Trujillo, who says saludos and then Uruguay flag. Good to see the Uruguayans in here. So yeah, hopefully Darwin will start for you guys as well. Darwin is so dangerous. He'll easily get 20 in all comps if he stays fit. Evening to Niall. Hope you're well. I'm good, mate. Hope you're good. As I say, believing in Mane can side with a different form of Salah. Starwin needs a run in 10 games. He needs to play 90 minutes. Top scorer for Liverpool this year, that's Julian. Julian, I've got to be honest, I still think it will be Mohamed Salah. I still think Mohamed Salah, he had a bit of a rest. He played one game for Egypt. He was rested for the other game. And I think now him having that extra bit of rest, Mick, might help him for the rest of the season, I think.
Massively. I think it's one of those that when we're not playing well, we tend to just hope Salah's just going to dig us out of a hole and get a goal, because that's the type of guy that he is. But yeah, you look at his numbers, like the amount of goals that he's scored, like in the last 5 years, is just incredible, really. And I think a little bit of a rest will do him good. I think we need to. I think the whole trying to bed Núñez in has maybe had a slight adverse effect on him, because we're trying a new system really with a new player that has kind of maybe upset the rhythm a little bit in those areas. And I think having Henderson injured also doesn't help, because of those overlapping runs and Trent not being in form. So that whole right-hand side really that we rely on for creativity and for goals has kind of not been at the best or been injured. So once we get those players back into form, I think we'll start seeing Salah getting goals, and he's got 4 goals so far in 9 appearances this season. So I mean, it's not bad considering. I mean, we're just used to like 9 and 9, aren't we? That's the thing, or more than that. So he'll get back to his best very soon. I think it's easy just to kind of start speculating like, oh, it's because Mane's left, it's because Núñez isn't fitting in. Jota's been injured, and I think just touching on what Kristian said, like having Jota back will have a massive effect on us, because he knows the system inside out, and it takes the pressure off Núñez as well, because I expect Jota to play a lot of the games, to be honest, and then maybe bring Núñez on last 30 minutes, and then once we're back into a positive rhythm, we'll start seeing Núñez maybe starting more games, and obviously Klopp will start maybe changing the system up, maybe going with 4 up top or something like that in games where you're going to face a very low block. So there's a lot of options, but I think getting Jota back and Salah back in form. I think it's just, if it was just like one player not in form and like a big player for us, then it would be like, oh, something's going wrong. But it's no coincidence that the whole team's not in form at the minute. Obviously, the Ajax game was a good step in the right direction. Obviously, there's been a massive gap now, but I think we can build on that, and getting players back, we can start to give Salah the ball and just let him score loads of goals again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go back to obviously last season, because this was one of those games where I was so frustrated, Kristian. 2-0 up, absolutely cruising, 2 Virgil van Dijk goals. Mwepu got an absolute wonder goal, you have to say. Yes, people could say it was a cross, but I think he actually does mean to get the ball in the net over Alisson. And then Trossard gets it to 2-2. Was that like one of the games where you actually look back on last season where we should have won that game?
Yes, definitely. Being, to 2-0 up, being Liverpool as well, no disrespect to Brighton in that concern, but, in that time where we were and the way we played and all that, that's one of the games you look back at when you're thinking that we lost the title with 1 point. It's them kind of games, it's not actually sometimes losing against the bigger teams. It's actually drawing against Brighton or whatever. But, that's football. They did a great job coming back, but you have to, look at ourselves in that kind of position and think, what did we do wrong and how can we not make it happen again? Because when you're 2-0 up, you shouldn't actually, let them go, concede them goals. But, they did great, Brighton. You can't take it away from them. That we need to just step up in that way and do better. And hopefully on Saturday now, when we had a break and people coming back and there's been some rest and we can actually start again, I hope that we will be out there and actually having a lot of energy, firepower, and actually going forward with a lot of pace as well to play our game and not being, because I think we've been a little bit, nervous because we have been out of form. We haven't seen the Liverpool that we used to, and that happens in football as well. You lose some form, that will happen. We've been really spoiled the last 4 or 5 years with Klopp being great, won loads of trophies, being in the top of the Premier League or whatever, going to finals, blah blah blah. But the thing is, in football you will lose form sometimes, and you have to just accept it and hope they can get back on track straight away. So now on Saturday, with all the rest, and we've been waiting, hope that we just come back with this feeling of let's go out and show, the Anfield crowd that we're back and we're gonna, go out and win this game. That's what I'm just hoping for, just to see the energy and to see the focus and intensity that we've been lacking for so long. So I hope with that book that, Pep Linders came out with, Intensity, it was a bit of a jinx, to be honest. I hope that all the players actually read it and know what it means. But yeah, that's the thing. I want them all ingredients into our game and actually show that we're back.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it's time to sort of talk about the elephant in the room, though. Luke, you do have a new manager, Roberto De Zerbi. First of all, what are your initial thoughts on the appointment, and do you think it's the right one?
Yeah, they've done really well, Brighton, to be fair. The chairman's done well. I think, they have said, Paul Barber as well has said that we've been looking at De Zerbi for a while. We've been scoping him out and anything. Every club sort of looks out for managers, a short list of managers in case anything happens for like what's happened recently with Potter going in literally 24 hours to Chelsea. So yeah. I think we've done really well. I really like the look of Roberto. And when we first sort of looked at when it was rumours that Roberto De Zerbi was going to be our next manager, or was kind of the highest possibility of the next manager, head coach, I kind of thought, you know what, let's do some research into this guy. And because I kind of like the look of him and what he brings to the table, obviously attacking wise, which always kind of interested me, considering, like I've already said, with our club mostly being more in the defensive side, with Dunk performing unbelievably well and being one of our legends of our club. So yeah, I've always been really, really interested in De Zerbi, and it's kind of weird that was the first manager I looked at, and now he's actually our manager. But he was my favourite as well out of all the other managers that we looked at, and I just liked what his stats were, liked all about him. I like what he's done for other clubs, and obviously he's Champions League ready as well. He's done some Champions League stuff, so he's not new to all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really like him, and I'm really, really excited actually to see him in Anfield, because I will be going to the game. We'll be vlogging it for my channel, so cannot wait. First time going to Anfield. A very long travel, all the way from the south coast all the way up to Liverpool. But it'll be a great travel, and I'm excited for it to see De Zerbi on his debut, and also to go see Anfield, their amazing atmosphere that they have to bring.
Yeah, it's one of the best cities to visit is Liverpool. It is definitely. But Mick, were you surprised how quickly Brighton took to get Sherby? Because obviously Graham Potter, Tuchel gets sacked almost immediately, and then almost 2 days later, obviously Potter goes to Chelsea, and then I think about 5 or 6 days later, Sherby's announced as the new Brighton manager.
Yeah, and I think reading after that, I think Chelsea were trying to get rid of Tuchel for even longer than that, weren't they? Really, so I think the whole deals like Couturier and stuff, and them getting what's his name on loan from buying the Scottish guy on a permanent deal. I forget his name now. The midfielder,
Billy Gilmore.
That's the one. Yeah, so those kind of deals where you're like, they would have just stuck around. They could have just, you know what I mean? It's one of them. So yeah, I mean, they must have. All clubs must have a special thing in place when they know they're going to lose a manager. They must have a list ready of potentials that they're gonna go for. And to be honest, I don't know too much about him. I know you said, Doug, there he managed Shakhtar and whatever, but I might have seen him manage a couple of games, but I didn't know too much about him. But just reading a little bit about it, Luke mentioned about his attacking style, then that's obviously something that they want to continue with, because obviously Potter's laid a great foundation there in terms of what he's been doing, what he's built there, which is amazing, really, when you when you factor in the players they've lost as well, and they're still doing well in the league, fourth in the league, 4 points ahead of us at this point. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those that hopefully for them, because I do like Brighton, I hope that it's the right appointment for them, because it's one of those when you lose a manager as I don't know if iconic's the right word, like Potter, but someone who gets the club, who identifies with what the fans want, plays the right style of football. When someone like that leaves, it could take a while to kind of recover from that. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, it might just be one of those where he fits in perfectly, but I suppose we just don't know until Saturday, and I think that's why it could go against us, because it could just be one of those where new manager bounce and they just absolutely they're all over the place and they're flying into tackles and stuff, which I expect will happen. But I'm just hoping that we'll fight fire with fire, and we'll have enough to kind of know that off the back of the Ajax game where we took a step forward in the right direction, that we need to be full throttle as well and match their intensity and go above and beyond it. Otherwise, it's going to be a difficult game if we don't.
I know it's a bit of an unknown identity, isn't it, Kristian? Because we don't know quite what we're going to expect from Brighton at the weekend, are we?
No, exactly. I don't know much about their new manager, to be honest. And, Italian as well. You never know what you're going to get. But I guess, like Luke said as well, they must have a list with potential managers that can replace someone quite quickly. And they already, kind of scouted him for probably a long term as well. What he's done with the clubs has been in, they're professional clubs. But I'm thinking, if he wants to, maybe, go into Brighton, win this game and be offensive and try to play their game, it could be a little bit of a, misjudgment, because I think what they said in the comments before, that if Brighton tries to go too offensive, they will leave space behind them, and that's when Liverpool actually flourish. That's when they are. We like to play not on the counter attack, but in that kind of space, because we've got the pace with Salah and Luis Diaz and quite quick play as well, on the ball. So I think that would be something that could be bad for Brighton. I would say, if I were their manager, to actually not sit back, with all players behind the ball, but actually play a bit more defensively, try to interrupt the game, and then go on the counter-attack, like they did against Man United away as well. When they got the ball and went on the counter-attack, they just scored. And there was, Man United nowadays, they're not as good as they were. But to be honest, if they try to go full out against Liverpool, I think that would be something that is not good for them. So for Brighton's sake, sit back a little bit and you try to come into the game. I wouldn't say you obviously control the game, but come into the game a bit and see how Liverpool plays and just try to interrupt our play. That would be the way for them. That's my opinion. But I hope they would try to go offensively, because that will suit us better, so we get more space, and that's what I like. Because if we can score one or two quite quickly, that would be good, because we need to find the goals as well in the way we did it against Ajax as well, but we've been struggling to actually score. Obviously, we scored 9 against Bournemouth. But if we can score quick, like we did against Bournemouth, I think we will be a little bit more, relaxed, and the players as well, and just feel like if we can score 1 or 2, we can play our game. We don't have to stress, and I think that's what Liverpool need at the moment. Just feel that we're actually in charge of the game, and not being concerned that, okay, we haven't scored yet. It's been 20, 25, 30 minutes and it's going up to half time, and you start to actually stress a bit because we haven't scored, because we're used to scoring quite a lot of goals. So that's an issue as well. So hopefully we can just actually start game quickly and score a goal, and that will be fine, I guess.
I know, and I'm hoping that if we go 2-0 up, that we actually go on and make it 3 and 4, because obviously 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in a football match. People said it was 1-0
against Brighton as well.
I guess, yeah, exactly. But we'll just dive into the comments, because there has been a few. Douglas, what about 4-4-2 with Núñez and Salah up front? That would be deadly. 4-4 Klopp will not play 4-4-2. I can definitely say that. Julian says, let's hope Salah's not fully rested for the game on Saturday. Mo Salah be our top scorer again, says Owen. Albion always play better against the bigger teams, especially away, so I'm hoping for a goal fest on Saturday. Gary's gone for his team. We will go into team selections very quickly. He's gone Ali, Trent. Kanai won't be fit, Gary. He won't be fit. I think he's maybe a couple of weeks away. Probably the Arsenal or Man City game, I would say. Kanai, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Thiago, Fabinho, Elliott, Salah, Nunez, Diaz, with Nunez a bit more advanced. Terry says, look, as a neutral, I just get the feeling you're going to nick the win by the odd goal. Sorry, Liverpool fans. And then he was like, when Klopp goes, you can have Rodgers back. No, thank you. No, thank you. No. And then Panoff has said, no, Terry, 3-1 Liverpool. Sorry, you're wrong. Douglas, I've gone for a 2-0 win to Liverpool, but at this time, where Liverpool is in the league, is this worrying or a blip that they can get out of quickly? It's just a wee blip, to be honest. It's one of those where we have had a bit of a blip, and there is some tough games coming up in October. We've got 9 games in October, so I would expect quite a bit of rotation as well. Salah needs to go back to being more selfish and not playing out more on the right, trying to feed balls in. Now it has come to the time of team selection, so I will start with my opposition counterpart. Luke, how do you think Brighton will line up on Saturday?
I'll be honest with you, I have no idea. Obviously, because of the new manager, we don't know what he's going to do. Obviously, he's been talking a lot about best form of defense is attack. Are we going to see it? I don't know, but he might not do that. He might be obviously talking a lot about him going and talking about the best form of defense is attack, but will he do it straight away? We don't know yet. So he might, and he might go really offensive, really attack. We don't really know though. So it's really difficult. I really don't know, to be quite honest with you. I have no clue. I haven't really heard anything about what we're going to do with the Liverpool game or what possible formations or players are going to be played.
If you were the manager, who would you start?
I'll be taking Solly March out straight away. That's all I'm saying. I'll be taking Solly March out and changing him. But who would I play? Well, obviously, Robert Sanchez, I'll put in goal. I'll definitely start, obviously, Dunk. Probably put Webster in. Then I'll put probably... Let's go with the more interesting. Let's go with the more attackers, because I think the defense side will be kind of the same. I think I would probably leave Undav off and put him on more towards the 60th or half time if we really need. If we're desperate in attack and we need more attack, then I'll probably bring him on at half time. But if we're doing okay and we're holding ourselves a little bit, I'll probably bring him on in like the 60th minute. But as we don't have Neil Maupay anymore, I think the only options is we have Welbeck up front with Leandro on the left and probably on the right. Ooh, I don't know. I would probably maybe even put Lamptey on the right. I think he's been playing okay when he's come on, and I think a bit of pace to go up against obviously Trent or whatnot would be quite good, quite handy, because I think a bit of pace is needed against quite a solid Liverpool side. So yeah, but look, I really don't know, to be fair, formations or players who are going to play in Saturday, to be quite honest with you.
It's a very tricky. It's a very tricky one when you got a new manager, because he'll obviously have his new ideas and he'll want to line up how he. And likes.
I don't know form wise how players are at the moment. Obviously, they haven't played in about 2 weeks or whatever it was. It's been really long, and I don't know how they've been in training. Don't know how people have been performing. So we really don't know. Really don't know.
Yeah. But Mick, how do you think Liverpool will line up on Saturday?
So I think you were mentioning Gary's comment there before. I think the only changes, obviously, Kanate, I don't think he'll be ready because he's only just came back and training today, so a bit soon. Rob, I think Klopp said Rob will be back after international break, but I imagine Tsimikas will probably stay in. I think apart from that, the only other change I'd make is I'd probably start Jota. I'd probably start Jota and put Nunes. Yeah, and put Nunes on the bench, and I think it's. I mean, I would. You can go either way, but I just feel like at this moment in time, I think he'll probably just go Jota and try and get us a couple of goals, like we've been saying, like a couple of early goals, and then you can bring Nunes into a team when we've got a couple of goals and there's a bit more space. Brighton are trying to attack us a little bit more, and there's a bit more space in behind. But I think either way, we're pretty good. I think midfield, Fabinho, Thiago, Elliott, with Henderson still being injured. I don't know when Henderson's back. Does anyone know? I suppose we'll know on Friday when Klopp does his presser. But
he came on. Did he come on in the last few minutes against Germany, Luke?
Did he?
Henderson, yes, he did. Yeah, he came on as a sub.
Oh, he'll be fit. He'll be fit then.
Oh, he'll be sound then. Yeah. I didn't watch it, to be fair, so I didn't know.
I had to, unfortunately.
So yeah, that's another boost as well, because at least we've got another right-sided midfielder to, like I said before, would help Trent and help Salah to kind of get those triangles that we know they're so good at, and that kind of helps us move forward as a team, as a collective on the attacking front. It helps us in terms of just keeping the tempo. It helps us in every aspect, that right-hand side. So yeah, I think I'd go with that. But then it wouldn't surprise me if we started Nunes. But I just think Jota in this game go with more tried and tested, and obviously someone who's scored for Portugal the other day, and obviously not long back from injury. Didn't get a pre-season really, but hopefully this break's hit the perfect pre-season for him to kind of get himself back up to speed, and he'll start scoring loads of goals again. Get ready for Arsenal as well, because he's got 7-7 against Arsenal. So he get his form ready for the Arsenal game.
Absolutely. He absolutely loves playing against Arsenal. Kristian, what would you do?
I'm pretty boring to just gonna agree with Mick, to be honest. I don't have much. I don't have much to comment on that, because I think, like he said, Konate is a little bit too early, so he's probably not going to play. And I would like to see Jota play, even if I obviously want Nunes, like I said before, I want him to start scoring goals and be that player for us. But Jota knows the system, he knows the way of how we play, so it's not bad to actually put him in there, and he's going to be eager to show off now that he's going to play as well. And, he gets the goals sometimes, the odd goals from nowhere really, and he pops up and gets a header in or whatever, and then we can bring Nunes on to have someone who's a little bit more physical in the box as well. So I would like Jota to start, and then with Henderson being back, I wouldn't put him in the starting 11 straight away. I like the Thiago, Fabinho, Elliott that we've seen, but it's great to have Henderson back to actually swap with Elliott or whatever, to get him to go in and have his power and engine as a leader as well. So yeah, go with Jota and bring on Nunes in the second half. So that's a good team for me.
Yeah, definitely. Panoff has gone Ali, Simi, VVD, Matip, Trent, Fab, Thiago, Elliott, Diaz, Nunes, Salah, and like Gary said, push Nunes up a bit higher. Yeah. Terry says, well, look, whether you beat Liverpool or not, I see Brighton to take the place of Leicester in the top 7. Wow, very interesting. And Julian has gone, well, we will get to score predictions right now, actually. Luke, what's your prediction for Saturday?
Oh, no. Starting with me. I've got to be hopeful. Look, I'm travelling a long way, all right, boys? So, look, I'm travelling in 7 hours, so I've got to go positive. I'm just going to go with something more respectable, and I think we're going to hold the game throughout the whole of the game. I think you're going to be really frustrated because you haven't put in a goal for the whole game. I reckon 70th minute onwards, we're going to score a winning goal. 1-0 for me away. Come on, the Albion.
Oh, Christ. That's exactly what happened in 2021, wasn't it? Alzati scored in the 72nd minute.
Yeah.
Oh, please no. Mick, what are you going for?
I know it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's such a big gap. We don't know what teams are up to in terms of form, whatever. There's no form. The form's out the window. We're starting to get a bit pretty much. But hopefully, and I think like Kristian said, early goal. We just need those early goals just kind of soothe us, and we can then start to play our normal football. We need those at least first 30 minutes, because especially at Anfield, if it starts to get a bit twitchy in the stands when a goal hasn't gone in, and you're kind of thinking, oh, is it going to be another one of those games where we just can't put the ball in the back of the net? You could play for 3 weeks and it won't go in. But yeah, I'll go for. I see Paul in the comments going for 5-0. I'm not sure about that. Shout out.
That's big. That is big.
Do you know what? I just don't see us at keeping clean sheets anyway. But 3-1 will do me nicely if we get a nice
3-1.
Two goals first half, one the second, and I think Brighton will probably score towards the end. Hopefully, something like that.
Yeah, Kristian, what are you going for?
Yeah, I was going to say 3-1.
I thought you were going to say 5-0.
No, 3-1. I'm thinking, if we can score an early goal, I think we will score a couple of more. But I think Brighton will get a goal. I don't think we will keep a clean sheet, because they are good. They have good players. They will probably punish us, but I think that we will edge it in the end by scoring like 2 more goals anyway. And I think now being back at Anfield, like we've been talking about, being back at Anfield and get this rest for a lot of players and actually go for it. This is time to do it. And I'm sorry, Luke, but that's what Brighton have to deal with this time. Even if you're going all the way up to Liverpool from Brighton, you will have a great time out in town anyway afterwards. So that's fine.
Well, actually, I'm not staying in a hotel, so I'm going to have to go straight on the coach and back home again.
Oh,
so I'm doing it all in one.
Wow.
You can stay with Mick.
It's going to be a tough travel.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I've had 2-1 in my head all week, but I'm actually going to go 3-1 as well. I think I've got a feeling that Brighton might actually score first, and then we just kick on and get 3 unanswered goals. I am hopeful with that. But there's some interesting predictions. Julian's gone 1-1 on Saturday. Okay, that's respectable. I do like that. Gary's gone 5-2. Yeah, okay. I don't see us scoring 5. Panos gone 3-1, and then Paul Dennison's gone, I'm going to go big 5-0, and then he says 5-0 for a TikTok.
I think that's linked to when me and Kristian do the shows, and I think it was something like I said to Kristian, if Liverpool win this game like 6-0, Kristian will shave his hair off or something like that. And then it got into like, we'll do a stupid dancing TikTok, which isn't going to happen.
Well, I can say if we win 5-0, I'm happy to shave my hair off. No problem. Live.
Oh,
no.
He's just said that live. Clip him.
Does it every week, to be fair, don't you, Kristian?
Yeah, but
dying
but we're the stalls, for it's going to happen. If we win 5-0, I'll be happy. Just get the clippers out. Yay! So yeah.
Oh, what are you? I actually remember you saying if we won, was it 4-1 against Man United, you would shave your hair off. I think it was that, wasn't it?
Oh, I think I said if we win like 7-0 against Man United or something like that. Because 4-0 we usually win nowadays, so that would be
Yeah, well, that didn't go very, very well against Manchester United. I'm hoping it goes well against Brighton. But guys, thank you very much. It's been a very, very good preview, and really, really good to get these 3 on as well. Mick, Moran from the Copeye Podcast. Tell the people where they can find you, and thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Yeah, Copeye Podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Like Paul says, TikTok as well. I'm just posted like 3 videos on TikTok. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just feel like I'm proper old man just going, how do I work these things?
I had to get used to it as well. It is tough.
It is. But Copeye Podcast on everything basically. And yeah, me and Kristian and Jay tend to do videos, two videos a week or something like that. We've done one about a new show, Player Profiles, the other day, about Luis Suarez, obviously the career of Luis Suarez.
Absolutely brilliant. I was listening to that on the way to work this morning, and just the absolute genius he was of Luis Suarez. I mean, he could score goals for fun. Actually, I'm going to say that now, the 13-14 season is probably the best individual season from a Premier League player I think I've ever seen, because he was just something else that season.
He was just. I mean, it's one of those like you're talking about him and you're like, oh, he's amazing, and then you're looking down like his timeline chronologically. And it's like first bite incident, oh, he scored loads of goals. Second bite incident, scores a lot of goals. Headbutt the referee and just loads of mad stuff like in his youth and whatever. But yeah, we did that the other day. That was fun. And then I've got Gareth Roberts, Robbo, who used to be on the Anfield Wrap. Got him on the preview on Friday night, like a live stream. So
excellent.
To discuss Brighton in a bit more detail, I suppose, and get Robbo's thoughts on things, because he's not on the Wrap anymore, so we don't get to see him that often. So it'll be nice to have a little chat with him. But yeah, nice one for having me on.
It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure. And you've made your debut, Kristian. We'll definitely need to get you back on, sir. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, they find me on Twitter, like you can see down there, like my Twitter name at KAnderson86LFC, or they can find me at the Cop Out Podcast with Mick, like you said. He brought me in, he transferred me from whatever I did before. It was a big fee, huge fee to get me on, but I'm happy accepted.
I was going to say, it was an emergency loan, but we're just seeing how it works out.
I'm like an Arthur for him. Yeah. Anyway, that's where you find That's where you find me anyway, and on Twitter doing stuff with lots of Liverpool stuff. Obviously connected with Swedish stuff as well. So, I'm from Sweden and used to live in England and watch Liverpool home and away for a few seasons and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just love to interact with Liverpool fans, and obviously loads of from England or Great Britain or whatever. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'm looking forward to be back whenever you want me, Dog. So, cheers.
Absolutely. No, an absolute pleasure to have you on, sir. And we'll definitely get you back on at some point as well. And to my fabulous opposition fan, Luke, thank you very, very much for coming on. Tell the people where they can find you, and how close are you to 4K now?
Honestly, we're like 16, 15 probably now away from 4,000 subscribers. Absolutely killing it right now. You can go find me. Literally, my name is right there. Luke Links Football. And if you want to follow me on my Instagram, I'm a little bit more active on my Instagram than I am my Twitter. Don't really have a big following on Twitter. So if you want to go and follow my Instagram or my TikTok's literally just Luke Links Football, all in one, no caps, no spaces. For my Instagram, it's just Luke_Links_IG. But yeah, no, honestly, thank you again, Doug. It's been good. Really enjoy it, actually. I really enjoy this channel. It's really chill. Like normally on my channel, it's just hectic, crazy. And I'm always coming off stream absolutely knackered. But it's actually just nice to just chat a bit of football for once, not just go absolutely bonkers like I normally do. But no, honestly, I appreciate it, and thank you a lot, man. Thank you a lot.
This is the lad who should teach you about TikTok, Mick.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't have a clue about TikTok either. So yeah, basically, I think Luke's your man for TikTok. But guys in the comments, thank you very much for watching. It's been a fabulous show. And as Luke said, it is very, very chilled. It's very, very relaxed. But then again, the Cop Out Podcast is very chilled and relaxed. So it's nice to get two very chillaxed channels on tonight. Paul says, cheers all. Panel Scout says, big up fellas. Gary says, great stream. And Terry Fuller says, see you lads. Have a good game. But yes, the Premier League is back. Yay! The Premier League is back until the middle of November. So enjoy 9 games in October. There's going to be Oktoberfest, absolutely, absolutely. But get the beers in, get everything in. Safe travels, Luke. Hope it's a very, very bad one for you. But until after that, good luck for the rest of the season, anyway. But thank you very much for watching. And from the 4 of us, we will see you very, very soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.